The Book of Leviticus. For many, it's a challenging read, often overlooked in our journey through the Bible. Yet, this ancient text holds profound truths, revealing the very heart of God's desire to dwell among His people. It is a foundational guide to holiness, worship, and living in covenant with the Almighty. Leviticus is not merely a collection of archaic rules. It is a divine blueprint for drawing near to a holy God. It teaches us about the sacredness of life, the necessity of atonement, and the beauty of a consecrated community. Stay with us until the very end as we uncover its timeless wisdom. If you find this summary helpful, please consider subscribing to our channel and liking this video. Your support helps us share these vital biblical insights with a wider audience, blessing more people with God's Word. Leviticus is the third book of the Torah, or the Pentateuch, following Exodus and preceding Numbers. It was given by God to Moses at Mount Sinai, immediately after the construction of the tabernacle. The people of Israel had been redeemed from slavery in Egypt, and God had established His covenant with them. Now, with God dwelling in their midst within the tabernacle, the crucial question arose: how could an unholy people live in the presence of a holy God? Leviticus provides the divine answer. Its primary purpose is to instruct Israel on how to maintain a holy relationship with God, how to worship Him acceptably, and how to live as His consecrated people. The central theme woven throughout Leviticus is holiness. It emphasizes that God is holy, and His people must also be holy, set apart for Him. This holiness is expressed through worship, ethical living, and adherence to God's divine commands. A significant portion of Leviticus details the sacrificial system, which served as the primary means for Israel to approach God and find atonement for sin. 5 main types of offerings are described: the burnt offering, the grain offering, the peace offering, the sin offering, and the guilt offering. Each had a specific purpose and ritual. The burnt offering symbolized complete dedication and atonement for general sin. The grain offering was an act of thanksgiving and devotion. The peace offering fostered fellowship and communion with God and others. The sin offering provided atonement for unintentional sins, while the guilt offering addressed specific transgressions requiring restitution. These sacrifices underscored the seriousness of sin and the necessity of a blood atonement. They pointed forward to the ultimate sacrifice of Jesus Christ, who perfectly fulfilled every requirement of the law, offering Himself once for all. Leviticus also meticulously outlines the role and responsibilities of the priesthood, primarily Aaron and his sons. They were consecrated through specific rituals, set apart to mediate between God and the people. Their duties included offering sacrifices, maintaining the tabernacle, and teaching God's laws to the Israelites. The priests were held to a higher standard of holiness due to their proximity to God's presence. Their garments, their conduct, and their very lives were to reflect the sanctity of their divine calling. They served as vital intermediaries, ensuring that the people could approach God in an acceptable and reverent manner. Beyond sacrifices and priesthood, Leviticus provides extensive laws governing daily life, all aimed at fostering holiness within the community. These include dietary laws, distinguishing between clean and unclean foods, which serve to set Israel apart from surrounding nations and promote physical and spiritual purity. Laws of purity addressed various conditions such as childbirth, skin diseases, and bodily discharges. These regulations were not about sinfulness, but about ritual impurity, requiring specific cleansing rituals before one could re-enter the full life of the community and worship. They taught the Israelites about the sacredness of life and the need for purification to dwell in God's presence. Leviticus also prescribes the annual cycle of sacred festivals and feasts, each commemorating God's faithfulness and His redemptive acts. These included the Passover, the Feast of Unleavened Bread, the Feast of First Fruits, the Feast of Weeks, the Feast of Trumpets, the Day of Atonement, and the Feast of Booths. These festivals were not merely historical commemorations. They were living acts of worship, drawing the community together in remembrance, thanksgiving, and anticipation of God's continued blessings. They provided a rhythm of spiritual life, reminding Israel of their covenant relationship with God and His ongoing provision. The latter chapters of Leviticus delve into broader ethical and moral instructions for living in covenant with God. These include commands regarding justice, honesty, care for the poor and vulnerable, and respect for one another. The famous command, "You shall love your neighbor as yourself," is found in Leviticus chapter 19. The book concludes with blessings for obedience and warnings for disobedience, emphasizing the consequences of choosing to walk with God or to turn away from His ways. It reiterates that true holiness is not just about ritual, but about a transformed life that reflects God's character in every interaction. Leviticus, therefore, is a profound testament to God's desire for intimate relationship with His people. It lays the groundwork for understanding sin, atonement, and the path to holiness, ultimately pointing us to the perfect fulfillment found in Jesus Christ. It reminds us that God is holy, and He calls us to be holy, for He desires to dwell among us. If you enjoyed this summary, please subscribe, like, comment, and share this video so more people can be blessed with Bible summaries.